What is going on, traders? So today's video is just gonna hopefully take a semi-deep dive. Well, maybe not a deep dive. We'll do an introduction on the trade window, which is this window here. How to attach it, a lot of the settings on it, and little just differentiations that will help you from being confused as a newer Sierra chart user, and then we'll also get into some order types and stuff like that if we have time. I am always surprised at experienced Sierra chart users who do not know much about the trade window and how to actually enter orders. Okay, so what we have here is I'm using the replay chart. So just FYI, this isn't live market. It'll be using something that happened earlier in the day as an example of, maybe a certain kind of trade type or something like that. But anyway, this window here is called the trade window. You can attach it to your depth of market, your DOM. You can attach it to a chart, and it can be free floating. I like to put a button in my control bar up here that says attach T-wind or T-window. That's the trade window. So if let's say I select this chart here, right, by clicking on it or clicking on the tab here, and I hit attach trade window, it'll actually detach the trade window that is already on here, which that makes it free floating. And that's also how you close it, right? And if you want to attach a trade window again, right, come back to this button, hit attach. So where you would attach that is, let's see, in trade, attach trade window to chart. Okay, so if you don't have that shortcut, that's where you do it. And what will come up if you're a brand new user of Sierra Chart is this field up here will be blank. This is sort of saved configurations. So whatever changes you make to this, if you go in here to this M button, right, and then you hit save configuration, you can actually save the configuration that you have. Of course, differentiating it by name and by whatever is different about the configuration that you have. And then you can, after you save a bunch of different configurations maybe that work for you, you can save this by maybe the setup you're doing or by what it does, whatever. You can save all of those configurations, okay? So that is a really fast way to kind of change the order types or the attached orders, or if you're doing like a breakout trade out of balance or something like that, and you want to have a certain kind of setup, you can save that configuration so that you can quickly go in there and enter a trade that's somewhat complex or something like that. Okay, so that's what that is, all right? And then this field here, it's either green light or red light. Um, and it's basically telling you, like, if you have attached targets, target orders, like a take profit and a stop order. In the case you see this use attached orders here. In the case that you use attached orders, the targets and the stops, they need to match, right, in quantity, because obviously if you get into a trade and then your target's 2 and your stop is 1, that's no bueno for obvious reasons, right? So okay, if I click that and then I go down here to quantity and I change it to 2, see how it turns red? Saying like, kind of like there's no match between these two. So it's giving you a warning there, right? So if I go back and change it to 1, it says, oh, you're good. So that's what that is. And then underneath that, you have tabs. And the tabs, so this would be your main tab that sort of has a lot of information, whether you're flat or long or short, your P&L for the session, then your open P&L, and then your daily P&L. You can configure what this shows in the chart settings for the whatever trade window you're in, right? So this trade window that I'm in here would be some of these settings would be controlled by chart settings, and then advanced settings, and like, okay, attach your trade window to the right side. You could attach the trade window. I think by default it comes over here on the left. I like mine on the right side, right? And so some of the settings, like the profit and loss format, you know, for this, right, which I have it set to currency, which is in dollars. A lot of that is set up in here. Okay, so just an FYI, there are some settings here. I recommend you go into Sierra Chart and just Google Sierra Chart and trade window settings, and then just read about it because there's so much you can look at, and look at the P&L and all the different things that you can do there. Okay, so then there's that, and then this here's your drop down for all your accounts. You can hide this. Okay, show that in another video, but you go here into your settings, the M button, and then settings, and then hide trade account list. Boom. So like me, obviously doing something on YouTube, and let's say I'm in my live account. I don't want to show that. Well, this is where you would do that. Okay, so the flatten button is where, let's say you're in a position, and you want to get out of that position and have no more orders, you hit flatten. That's all. Reverse, whatever the quantity is set to. So let's say you're a position 8 long or something like that, and you're like, whoa, I want to go short here. Okay. Whatever this quantity is set to, when you hit reverse, it's going to flip you back and make you short one contract. It's not going to reverse the total contract value long that you're in. It's going to reverse. It's going to get you into the opposite position according to the quantities that you have here. So if you hit reverse, let's say you're 8 long, you hit reverse, it's going to take you 10 short, right? With using attached orders, right? And this OCO buy sell stop thing, which probably don't want to be doing that. But anyway, so that's what that is. Cancel all is like any orders that are outstanding. It cancels all of them, right? So the flatten button also gets you flat and cancels orders. But there's a setting you can go change to where you can control that behavior a little bit. I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, these are your buy market, buy the ask, buy the bid, meaning, buy the bid would put a limit order here. Buy the ask would take the best offer or ask. Buying at market would just, not tie the order to this level, but it would just, let's say it was for quantity 5, and the book was showing, 1, 2, 3, 4. It would take all levels, because if your quantity was for 5 and it was, 1 ask at each level of the book, 4 ticks up, then the market would just order would take all the levels up to 3 points, because that's your stop protection level. But anyway, that's a whole CME thing. They don't allow you to do true market orders like the stock market. They kind of cap it to prevent huge moves on the book. That said, the HFTs can still sell it down in a blink of an eye. So anyway, I digress on that little point here. So that is quite a difference, though, because if you're saying buy the ask and it's for 10, it's going to place an order for 10 at this level, and then maybe the market's just going to backfill and fill you for all 10 here, rather than you eating up several levels of the book and then your average being somewhere up here or something like that. So a little bit of a difference, but it does it can pay literally to understand that difference. Okay, so these are your quantities. You can set these buttons. This is the used attached orders. So if you do have orders that are attached, or that you want to set like a stop and a profit, and you want to use them, so like let's say you enter a parent like this. See that? These are attached orders, right? See that white line? It shows, hey, this is attached. So when this fills, becomes an OCO. If this fills first, it'll cancel this. If this fills first, it'll cancel that one, right? And that way you have stop protection, and then you have a profit taker, right? And you can determine how you want the stop to move. That you can, if let's say you're entered here at 38.75 to the long side, and the price moves up 8 ticks, you could tell Sierra Chart, hey, I want this on this order type to, after this moves up into profit 8 ticks, move this to break even, or move it to 2 ticks in profit, and then trail it at 8 ticks. Okay? Does that make sense? I hope it does. Anyway, there's all kind of things you can do, and that's where you get into the order types and stuff like that. Okay, so back to the screens. This is the break even button, and all this will do is it'll take your stop and move it to break even. So watch, I'll hit it. Oh, well, I'm not in a position. Okay, I'm in a position. Now break even. So since I was entered here, it moved the stop up to here. So that's all that this does is just move your stop to break even. Right? And that's a nifty little feature because like let's say you get into profit and you're like, man, I no longer want this to be a losing trade and I have plenty of room on my stop. But you know, in case of there's some news event or black swan, you don't want to get stopped down here. You'd rather get stopped here, and you got plenty of room. Well, okay, hit that, move it to break even. So super cool. And this is where you do have your order types here. You see that? So market order, limit order, stop, stop limit, market if touched. I think you should go read what these do and see your chart because this could be a 2-hour video if I go into all of these. Okay, so these are all your order types, right? And then, you know, if you do have something like this, an OCO buy stop, sell stop going, this is where you enter those values in. So anyway, let's change it to limit, see what it looks like. So there you go, right? If you wanted to enter a limit order right here from this field, say with quantity 1, let's say I wanted to enter right here. Yes, you could go click the DOM. You could go click it here, and that's probably faster. But you could also do it right here. So you could say like 39, oh, I don't know, 37. Okay, so let's do that. 39, 37. It's for quantity 1. See, now notice how if I change the quantity here, it changes it down here. Watch. See that? So maybe this is a faster way to do it rather than typing it in. So anyway, if you hit buy here, and then like the time in fours with futures, just good tail cancel. Just defaults to that. So anyway, again, you're using attached orders, right? So it's using this configuration, which is configured in this target screen. So if you don't want to use attached orders, you just do this. See that? And it's entering at 39.37. Right? So you don't need to use the DOM, right? The reason you use this is because if you want to enter some exotic order types and like, you know, do a breakout, I don't know, say if we broke below T+1 and VWAP, maybe you would want to be short. And if you broke above, I don't know, say 39.46, you'd want to be long. So, you know, you can do that with something like an OCO buy stop, sell stop. Okay, so in this case, and we can also use attached orders. So the attached orders are going to be based on this, the targets. So your target is 24 ticks. So if we click on this, you see the limit offset. That's from the entry, 24 ticks, or 24 divided by 4 is 6 or 6 points. So a 6-point take profit, and then the stop is 6 points. Okay, or $300. Right? You can. There's a setting where you can tell Sierra chart to show you how much in dollars the stop or the target is, and so that's in there for me. So anyway, if you click on the stop, you know, you can obviously you can do the offset top by ticks, by percent, anyway, ticks is probably the most simple. So your stop offset 24 ticks below your entry. So anyway, that's where you set that up, right? We won't get into all of this. It's a little bit more complicated for now. Maybe I'll get there. But anyway, going back to the screen. So if you're wanting to use attached orders, just keep in mind that for each of these entries, they'll have their own set of attached orders. Okay, so let's watch this. Okay, so let's say I want to enter short at 39.3275. So sell, stop, 39.3275. I want to enter long at I don't know, 39.4675. Okay, I know what happened in the market today, so I'm using this as an example. Okay, so again, this is an OCO, and by um, getting you into the market here at this level, you're saying like maybe you're taking a breakout, but you also want it to break this level because then you think it's going to go higher. And by taking out this level, maybe you think like, okay, this is yesterday's close. It's bearish below there. We've got VWAP here. And I think if we break this 39.3275, we're going downtown, right? Maybe not the most valid setup in the world, but again, that's what you're thinking, okay? So you would just click buy. So if we cancel this, notice how I hit buy and it just placed all the orders, right? So it placed this one and it essentially placed this one. So this is a sell stop, right? With the profit taker of 6 points, and it's got a stop here. So if the market came down and filled me here, because this is OCO, this one would cancel this one and its associated attached orders, and all you would have left is an attached order for a stop up here, a buy stop up here, and a target buy or covering order for that short position down here. So you see how that works? Okay, I'm going to cancel all. Now, just note, I hit buy, right? What if I hit sell? Well, it doesn't matter, does it? Because it's a sell stop down here, and it's a buy stop. So in this particular order type, it doesn't matter which button you press because it's going to have the same effect. And that's just because of logic, right? This is a buy stop no matter what. This is a sell stop no matter what. So nothing changes. So just Sierra Chart's saving you from yourself here, right? Essentially. If this weren't a stop, right, then this would be a sell, right? And it would already have you in the market. So if you're thinking, why can't it go backwards? Well, why can't you hit buy or sell? Think about what I just said, and then you'll realize, oh shit, because it would be a limit order, right? You just immediately enter the market. It wouldn't be a breakout type trade. So anyway, Sierra Chart is not allowing you to reverse what's happening, right? To make this essentially what? A buy stop here? Why not just place a limit order? Right? Anyway. Hope I didn't confuse anybody. I'm not trying to confuse anybody. Okay, so anyway, going back to this scenario, right? And if we play this, let's see what happens. Okay, I'm on replay. Let's hit play and let's go, I don't know, 6x speed. Here we go. Let's see. I know what happens here. Let's go to 10x actually. Or 20x because I just want it to fill. It's going to fill up here. Okay, I think the market came down a few more. We'll go to 20x. 930. What was the low down here? I don't remember. Whatever. We're at 20x speed. It's going to fill somewhere up here. All right. But I want to slow it down so that it doesn't, number one, mess up for some reason. Number two, is that we're kind of seeing more in real time. All right, here we go. Did the market make a big move off this level? I think so. All right, this is where I think it made the move. All right, oh. Come on. All right. All right, getting close. All right, here we go. So what I really want you guys to see, as I'm being a little distracted by my kid, is this is the parent order because it's defined here as a buy stop, 39.4675. And you can kind of see, all right, the way that these lines are connected. So first off, this is the parent because it sits the furthest, I guess, back according to the lines. And then the next attached order to this is this one. And we know it's a 1 cancels other. So this one goes here, and it comes straight up. Once this fills, it's going to cancel this one along with its attached orders, and then the next set are going to go live onto the book right here. Okay. And again, you could see it's further away from the order, so you can see that just by the lines, the way that the order is for activating orders. Okay, so that's what I want you guys to see with these lines. So we're gonna play it again. Boom! See that? You see how this went away? Now you have a stop here and a profit taker here. So, if you're playing a breakout trade, right? And you're like, you know, let's move this off here. This is a balance area, and for whatever reason, I don't know, you're like, this is a balance area. So, I want to be here. Let's change this. I want to be, if we break this balance, I want to be short here with the stop in up here and a profit taker down here, right? And if we break, I don't know. Well, it's already a bad example because I'm in from here. But let's say this is a balance area. And if we break to here, I want to be long with a buy stop, but I want to have stop protection in. This is how you do it, right? So, you could play two balance, like you could enter this single order in, right? And it will essentially get you in above here with stop protection and profit taker, or you could get in short here with stop protection and a profit taker down here, all just using one button, and it's already managed for you according to these balance areas. So utilize that. That is actually very cool. If you're trading, I don't know, extended trading hours, and you're like, I just want to buy the breakout and I want to have stop protection, but if it goes lower, I also want to be in the trade, but I want my buy trades to be canceled. Well, this is how you do it. Okay, so you're playing either side of balance, either one balance area, or multiple balance areas. Okay, so I think that order type for a lot of folks is actually very, very, very cool. Anyway, we're just gonna get out of this trade for loss, whatever. So we'll pause it again and return to just looking at some things. So you have trail stops that you can enter by themselves, right? Let's say I don't know, you want to buy the market here. Oh, cancel all these orders. You're in, you just bought, you don't have stop protection, you want to trail stop it. Okay, so what you would do is, you'd put that, let's say you want it to trail at like, I don't know, like you want your stop to be here, 42.50. So just type in 39.46, 0.5. And what would you have to do to get out of a long trade, right? You're one long, right? And so you can see +1 at this level. What do you have to do? You have to sell. Okay. So you don't want any attached orders. Okay, so sell. So there's your trail stop. See, it's right at that level. Now, as the market moves up, it's just going to move up with the market. The distance that was originally determined by when you first set the trade. So it's just going to, like let's say it's when you first enter the trade, it's like it was 46.25, and you're like, well, I want to do my trail stop at 42.25. What is that? 4 points. Well, this is going to just trail stop for now 4 points, and it's just going to move with the market. So, that's if you forget to put your stop protection, this is one way to do it. Okay, and then there's another setting within Sierra chart. If, for example, you're like, well, I want to trail tighter now, right? I want to trail like, this is a crazy breakout move here. I don't want to get stopped out like that. He almost got stopped out. All right, now I want to trail right here, because if we come back down to this wick, I think we're going so. Okay, so do that. It's now trailing the market according to how you moved it up, right? If you want to adjust it again, that's fine. It'll start adjusting now to whatever that level. So as it breaks this 47.50, it's going to move up each tick with it. Watch. There it is. I was off by a tick, but whatever. So it's moving up with the market. And you're like, oh, well, I want it to be here. I want to stop out here. That's fine. You can keep adjusting it, and then if it makes a huge move, it'll follow the market faster than what you can ever do. Right? So these things are kind of useful to learn, all these order types, so that you can, you see that? So you can kind of set, like, okay, maybe you want to give it more room. Move it down, right? Now it's going to adjust with it at that distance. That's fine. Whatever. Maybe you're like, okay, now it's getting overheated. Now it's getting overheated. I want to trail it like, 3 ticks or whatever it is. No, fine. If we make a little blow off move here, guess what? You're gonna catch it. There you go. See? If it pulls back 3 ticks, you're gonna get stopped out. Is it gonna go? No, it's not gonna go. Anyway. Alright, let's pause this. And let's get out of this trade. Alright. So the next thing, we've been looking a little bit at use attach orders. That's determined here in the targets, and you can offset these by ticks, by type. It's just a stop type is like the general category of order, and it's just a market stop. You can do a stop limit, trailing stop limit, right? So in this case, let's say you have a target of 24 ticks or 6 points higher, you can still make your stop be a different type. You can say, instead of it just being a market stop, you can do a trailing stop, and just a trailing stop that when it gets hit, it market sells, right? Or you could do a trailing stop to where when it gets hit, it creates a limit sell order, right? Because if you're like, well, it could reverse and then keep going, but the way the market oscillates, right? You might want your sell, I don't know, to be a few ticks higher, because you're like, well, it usually turns into a range. So I think I'd like to get out somewhere, if this made a reversal candle, I'd like to get out in here, right? So you can make it a stop limit or something, right? So whatever. You could do a trailing stop, a triggered trailing stop, where the triggered, you could read up on all these because it gets complicated, but the triggered trailing stop is when it moves past break even by a certain amount of ticks, it triggers the trailing stop to then activate, right? So it won't become a trailing stop until so many ticks, so it's being triggered into a trailing stop. So all kinds of stuff, right? So but you can combine a trail stop with a target, right? So let's say we come back here to the main tab, and you're like, well, I want to get in and I have a trailing stop, and what is it, like the let's see, trailing stop, the stop offset is 24. Okay, but I want this trailing stop to be, say, 8 ticks or something, right? Or $100. Okay, so let's go back, and I want to buy the market right here. I don't know if the price is going to keep going up right now. We're going to see. If it does go up a little bit more here, then we'll see the effect. But anyway, you can see here, TS, trail stop. See that? It's already trailing. I think it went to like some. Anyway, I just stopped out. So you see that? You see that effect? It's an 8-tick trailing stop, 8-tick trail stop. So maybe if you set your order type up like this, there's some more settings. I'm actually not going to even go into the settings. It's too much, I think. Well, I'll go into a little bit of it, but not too much. Um, anyway, right now we know that our target is 24 tick, our stop is a trail stop, and it's 8 tick. Well, okay, we're in this save configuration. Maybe we want to save this configuration for this trailing stop thing. So, all right, don't really need to change all this. Don't even need to have all that here. All you got to do is go in here to M, go to save configuration, and what do we know? We know huh? We know that the order type is a 24 tick take profit with a 8 tick TS trail stop, right? And the quantity buttons, which I haven't gone into, are between 1 and 10. So if you want to keep track of like maybe you trade MES sometimes, you want to have a configuration for MES, and your quantities on MES are higher, maybe you do want to denote that the quantities for this save configuration maybe are for ES, they're the quantity 1 through 10. Okay, so let's do that. Let's just say QTY 1-10. So we know that the quantities on this quantity button for this configuration is going to hold quantities 1 through 10. Okay, so then you save it. It's done. So now it's in the drop down list here. 24 tick. So now, okay, let's go back. Do 10 tick. Limit and stop. Okay. Look at the targets. 10 tick profit, 10 tick stop. Okay. We want to go back to that configuration of the what was it? 24 tick take profit, 8 tick trail stop. It's right there. Now it's loaded the targets, the take profit, right? The quantities, all of that. So anyway, how you would change these quantity buttons is going in here to set and the quantity buttons here. So you could change this to like 10, 20, 40, 50, right? This is 100, and then 80 over here, right? So you go back to the main, go back here. It's a 24 tick take profit, 8 tick trail stop, quantity 1 through 10. Well, this is 10 through 100, right? So let's go over to the M button, save the configuration, and let's change this to 10 to 100. This is our MES screen or something like that. Okay. Save it. There you go. So now these buttons are here. Now let's go change it to the quantity 1 through 10. Right there. See how it changed all the quantities? Everything else was the same. Now let's go change it to the 10 to 100. Boom, changes it. Like real time. Like no delay, right? So anyway, that's where you set the quantity buttons for the configuration that you're going to be saving. So last, probably more important screen here is this C tab, which is maybe it's not the last, but it's one of the more important ones for me for space saving. Notice how wide this is. C only just stands for compact. You click that, it's just going to be kind of a compact trade window. Okay, and it's going to get rid of your order types here too. So, that's something, if you use a certain kind of order type and you want to save space, and you always use it, and it's like up here in the save configurations, like all your configurations are saved, you probably, if all your known configuration or entry types are all saved, or you just like to drag your stops or whatever around, this is probably all you need. You don't need to see this with all of this down here. Because like, okay, you know that if you use your attached orders and you get into a trade here, you buy limit, there you go. You can do it right from the DOM or right from the chart. I have it as a right click. You could also turn on your DOM. I have it right here. All right, so I could easily turn it on enter orders right from the DOM. So anyway, it's just going to remember the whole configuration up here. So if you have this nice and wide, this is what a lot of people do. They're like, shoot, I'll do an 80 tick stop like this. I don't know, maybe they trade. Oh, attached orders wasn't on. Right here. And then they're like, well, then I'll adjust my stops and my profit takers. Or maybe instead of an 80 tick, you do like something like a 40 tick. Right? That's a little closer to the price action, right? You're like, this is, oh, attached orders is not on. Okay. Right there. So there you go. And you like to drag it around just using the 40 tick. Something to note, right? You can place orders over here all day long on your DOM, but your DOM has its own trade window. So for any time you attach your trade window, if you're over here, let's say I clicked on my DOM right here, I'm on my DOM and I attach a trade window, it has its own trade window. So the quantity buttons, if I change them over here, it doesn't change it over here. This trade window is for entering orders on this chart, and its settings are separate. So if I go ahead and change 5, it's not changing 5 over here. Look, this is all independent. Okay, so if I enter orders over here, that's quantity 6 on the DOM over here. If I enter an order over here for 1, look, that's quantity 1. Does it still show up on the DOM? Yeah, of course. Right? It's the same book. But that trade DOM has its own trade window, and the chart has its own trade. So that is trade window. So that is stupidly important. When I first started using Sierra Chart, I didn't read all the documentation, and I was like, entering orders from the chart window over here, and I thought I was controlling it with this trade window. No, they're independently set. Okay, so if you like to trade from your chart window, then get it all right. Like you can use the same drop down like this, and it'll essentially change it to the same thing, right? Won't change your quantities, but it'll change it to the same configuration. Look, your targets will be exactly the same. All of it will be whatever was saved for that configuration up here, 10 tick limit and stop, right? So the save configurations are available in both, but whatever each one is set to, it's setting execution on that chart window. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense, because that's an important thing. So anyway, I think this video is long enough. Maybe I'll do a separate video for exotic order types and just focus on that. But I think this gets you enough information. Again, like the A, flatten and cancel at a certain time. Maybe this is useful if you have day trade margins and you like to, you have to be flat at a certain time. So you can set that here, right? Let's say like, I don't know, 6 minutes or 7 minutes before the close. Every day you're like, I fucking do, 20 lots or something. By that time, I know I have to flatten. And if not, AMP's going to flatten for you. You're going to charge you, I don't know, $30 a contract or whatever it is that they charge for that service to, automatically flatten you because of margin rules or whatever. And you're like, well, I don't like paying $30, so I know I have to be out. You can use that here, right? So, and there's some other things here, but most people are just not going to use that. So maybe you do use this, but again, you should be aware as we head into the close if you're leveraged or whatever. You should know. You should be looking to get out prior to that. Maybe that's a fail safe or something. But again, if you're not leveraged, this is going to flatten you. So maybe not the best setting in the world to mess around with, but anyway, I figured that this could be a useful video, and maybe I'll do another video where I just focus on all these, not all of these order types, but some of the setups that you can kind of create with this, all like the triggered and then trail stops, and stops that move around, and scaling in, scaling out, and some of the settings associated with this, and some of the other setting windows and stuff. Again, it gets pretty in depth, so I was really just focusing on what comes up here for most people. Again, you can also adjust all the colors and global settings and it's in the for the global graphics settings, global, and then you would just be going to the trade window, wherever that is. I thought it was after chart trade window. There you go. So right there, chart trade window by button. Anyway, making sure that the trade DOM doesn't have its own trade window settings. I didn't think so, but see, chart trade window. Anyway, that'll control colors regardless of whether it's attached to the DOM or to the chart. Okay, so anyway, see, you can change all these buttons. See how it's orange? That's the orange color, right? That's the black color behind. So whatever, if you want to make flatten white, if you want to make reverse, I don't know, orange, yellow, something, whatever floats your fancy. But anyway, I hope you guys find this interesting. Again, if there's something you want me to cover about this, then please put it in the comments, and maybe in my next Sierra chart educational video, I'll see if I can address it. So anyway, have a good one, and happy trading.